There's a lot of big games this weekend in college basketball, but there's no game that was played that had a better atmosphere than the one we just saw in McKale Center. We had the Zona Zoo from the ceiling all the way to the court, engaged from start to finish, and our home crowd, which I talk about a lot and probably don't talk about it enough, how important it is and how much it impacts our ability to win, how tough it is for an opponent to come in here and get a victory. And our crowd was awesome with us from start to finish, and I'm glad we were able to pull out the game, not just for us, but for them too. So we only have 4 home games left, which is amazing. You know, in some ways it drags on college basketball season, but in this case it's hard to believe that we're down to only 4 regular season home games left. So when we return back, we really look forward to playing in front of them. Dusan, I can't say enough good things about him as a kid. Again, I don't talk about him nearly enough. You know, you get a player like him and you always hope that they develop into something special because he works so hard. And Bill Walton says it a lot, and he's right. Some guys are 7 feet, they play basketball because they were told at a young age that that's what they should do because they're bigger than everybody. Then once in a while you get that 7-footer that if he were 5'9", he would be a good player or want to be a good player. And I would say that's Dusan. He's the first to the gym, he's the last to leave. He's sacrificed away from his family. I mean, this guy in 4 years has been home for maybe a grand total of a month in 4 years. Came here, didn't speak English or barely spoke English, and he's 2 classes away from graduating. He's our team's heart and soul in a lot of ways. And when we lost 3 games in a row in the Bahamas, he was the guy who stood up and had the tough talk, and everybody respected him because he leads by example. So to see him all of a sudden become a 3-point shooter, go 9 for 11, 23.7 rebounds in a game of this magnitude, you know, it's awfully nice to see. And I think we're all happy for him, proud of him. He told me in the locker room that was his 1,000th point that he made, that shot. Which reminds you that these guys always keep their stats in their head, right? But the fact that he scored 1,000 points on that 3-point shot, if that's the case, that's even a better story. So today was his day, and I center that on him because we played through adversity and we needed him to have a big game, and he did.
It's been his week, actually. Thursday was another one of those games. He's been really good in the last couple of games, 3 games.
When we took him to Pac-12 Media Day, I told him that in the 9 years that I've gone to Pac-12 Media Day, I've never taken a player who didn't become an all-conference player. And I remember when I said that, he looked at me like, hopefully I'll break. But right now, if you go through it, the impact that he's had, how consistent he's played, you know, Dusan is probably one of the top 15 players in our conference, and he's having a great senior year, which you always hope to see, and I'm glad that he's doing it.
What's the most important instruction you give on that last play?
That's a tough one. You know, I'm glad we had 1 timeout. I was able to at least talk to the guys. We saw their initial alignment. Obviously, he could change it. If he would change it, I think that's to our advantage. If he doesn't change it, you could at least get everybody locked in. I think we would have said, looking at that they were trying to get a drive for Tillman, 4 seconds. Big, strong, physical player. Emmanuel Acott was a good matchup for him, and Emmanuel did a good job. He, I think, created some doubt on whether he would be able to get open if he went up towards the elbow, and I almost feel like he broke the play off. I don't know if I'm right, but he caught the ball around the backboard, and you know, Emmanuel's a tough kid who's got size to him, and I don't know if he got a good shot off. So I like the way Emmanuel defended, but you don't want your guys to be apprehensive. You don't want to foul, but the minute you start talking about don't foul, the ball's right under the backboard. It doesn't favor the less physical player. And you know, the way that they got the ball, I would say it'd be tough to go 2 calls in a row there. So we did a good job of not fouling on that last play.
What did you think of the officiating tonight, and how did your players adjust to that? I mean, do you think your players did a good job?
You know, there's a lot of fouls called on our defense. I'll have to watch it. Sometimes what you think in the emotion of the game and what you see when you really are in the quiet of wherever you watch it, you kind of see that they were right. So we'll have to take a look at it. But Fouling has plagued our defense. That's one thing I know, and we have to get better at that. But it was a tough game, you know, playing through that, not letting it just steal your confidence and mind. We did a good job of that. You know, we entered that last 4-minute segment, and that might have been our best basketball of the second half, both on offense and defense. We got some stops that we needed, so I give our players a lot of credit for that. Sometimes when things aren't going in your direction, it's tough to change it back, and we did.
And what does that say about how far they've come in terms of maturity?
Well, if you follow our team closely, and I wish this wasn't the case, at the 4-minute media timeout, you could flip a coin on who's going to win, because most of the time it's been very, very close. One-possession games. This weekend, you know, we had a lot of players step up, but, you know, Raleigh-Alkins is a big part of what we do, and I think to win this homestand and beat these two teams without them, I'm happy Raleigh was able to get some rest. You know, it builds confidence in some guys that got a bigger opportunity, but you could feel us wear down in both games, and you know, I think the good news is Raleigh, he takes care of that to some degree.
But you guys continue to do really well in that 4-minute stretch, the 10-minute war, what I mean, that 10.
Yep.
What is it? I'm not sure it's not magic, but you guys are doing really well.
Well, usually it's great free throw shooting on offense and tough defense. You know, we only scored 6 points from the foul line tonight, and we had 2 second shots, which I would say potentially are both season lows for us. But we made up for it because we shot 64%. So, and I would say out of the 15 turnovers, my guess is 6 or 7 were offensive fouls. So again, that's tough, you know, to play through the offensive fouls. And 15 turnovers seems like a lot, but when you factor in how we got those, you know, that took away some good scoring opportunities for us.
What did you like offensively? It seemed like you played pretty well except for that one stretch in the second half.
Yeah, we moved the ball well. 19 assists is great. Like I said, 15 turnovers. Put an asterisk next to it because you don't have usually that many offensive fouls. We'll have to take a look at those. But no, we had an unselfish team. You know, DeAndre and Dusan shot 21 times between them, and they made 15. By the way, DeAndre made a 3 as well. So we were 4 for 4 from the three-point line between those two guys. It'll be interesting to see what they do next game. I hope they're 0 for 0.
You've been in a number of close games and you've survived them, obviously we just talked about that. These are probably better off than 20-point wins. You learn more and you get maybe the team hardened for down the road.
Well, one thing's for sure, our players understand how hard it is to win games. And, you know, a lot of teams are gunning for us. You know, Utah, you know, they're not off the mark very far to be in the NCAA tournament. I mean, they had a shot go in and out in Salt Lake City against ASU. They just won on the road against ASU. Both of their games against us could have gone either way. And, you know, they could really put it together down the stretch. You know, Larry is a really good coach and puts his guys in a great position. And on defense, they're a hard team to play against because they're so unique. Even when you play well on offense, it almost feels like you did because how we just played is so different from what we normally do. And but I give our guys credit for finding a way.
What'd you say to Dusan after that 3 at the end?
I really didn't know what to say. I was so surprised he took the 3. I couldn't believe it. And then when that thing went in, I'm not sure how I reacted, but I'm glad it went in for him. That's what I'll say.
Was that a sign of just that different level of confidence that he would take that? You know?
Right. No doubt, and I hit on this prior or after our Colorado game. Confidence is big for all of our players, but it's really, really nice to see Dusan have the confidence that he does because he hasn't always had great confidence playing here. Some of it was probably me, taking him in and out, you know, trying to make him a better defensive player and maybe not understanding his gifts on offense enough. But I know this, he's in a really good place and he takes a lot of pride in winning. I think he had his 500th rebound tonight as well. At least that's what he told me. So we'll have to check on that. But, you know, Dusan, you come here, 1,000 points, 500 rebounds. He'll leave here as the all-time winningest player. He's a great guy to have on your side. I know this, every coach in our conference would love to have him.